Welcome to Warp Core Breach, episode 22 and a half. Or 22.5 for all those decimal lovers out there.
Boo.
This episode we're going to be covering the previews for Wave 22. Episode 22 and a half? Wave 22? I think I kind of like that synergy.
It's not going to last forever.
No. We released too many episodes for that.
Sorry, not sorry.
Anyway, for this episode, we've got 3 lovely ships for this month's release. We have the USS Valiant, the Andorian Kumari, and the Romulan Pi.
Pie.
Everybody wants their slice.
Or is it peace? Either way.
Give pies a chance. I'm
more of a fan of Tau, but I do like pie. Pie is fun.
3.14159. Rah! Where's the cheerleaders?
I thought I left them with you.
Well, instead of cheerleaders, how about we go for Starfleet cadets? Which is a great way to start off with the USS Valiant, the Defiant class Federation starship with the standby stats that we're all used to of 3234, 24 points, 1 tech, 1 weapon, 3 crew slots, the usual 4 Federation actions on the bar, and the ability is, when attacking with photon torpedoes during the roll attack dice step, you may discard the photon torpedoes upgrade to gain an additional attack die. Thoughts on this, David?
Well, named ability, I actually like. I don't love it. I don't think you're going to use it all that often, especially with the prevalence of Type 8 phasers, upgraded phasers.
Agreed.
Photon torpedoes are not my jump to secondary weapon for this ship. But if you do have the slot and photon torpedoes are what you're going to go for, there's a place in time for this named ability to kick. What I do love about this ship, 3 crew slots.
Oh, yeah.
And it's got a tech. That's what you need.
Indeed. The one thing that kind of feels a bit off is this is a Defiant class. This is supposed to be one of the overpowered killer attack ships. And it's got 1 weapon slot.
Yeah, I think the reason they did that is because it's the cadet ship.
Yeah, the rest of the torpedoes don't arrive till Tuesday. I get it.
Yeah, and I think they're probably saving some room for a Sao Paulo Defiant class.
Yes, our second Defiant.
Yeah, and when you do that, you can bring the crew slots down a little, up the weapon slots. And I think they're probably trying to avoid too many ships that can combo with the Type 8 and the upgraded phasers.
Something told me they weren't really considering that in the design of this ship.
Yeah, probably not. So I like it. I think it's a reasonable ship. You're taking this because of the triple crew slots. You're not really taking it because of the named ability. But you've got that extra shield, and you've got a named ability that maybe matters, probably doesn't.
Yeah, if you do take torpedoes, you're likely only going to be using the ability near the end when you just want to get that extra die to finish them off.
Yeah, which, why not? I wish that it worked with any torpedo, because that would be really nice with quantums.
Yeah, having abilities tied to torpedoes, they should really only be using the torpedoes term, unless they want to specify something like chronoton or plasma or something. Because photons should just be a gimme.
Yeah. But that's the Valiant. I think we can agree that it's not the worst thing, it's not the best, but no skin off of anybody's nose that it exists.
Exactly. I just wanted to mention that sometimes the generic version of the ship has different slot arrangements, sometimes they're the same. Just want to mention that this one is indeed the same as the Defiant that came before, with 1 tech, 2 weapon slots, and a crew. So if you decide to go generic, you will get that 2 weapon slot kick, just without the ability.
Yeah. So that's something, especially if you can't find a Defiant pack. I know those kind of go in and out of stock, so.
But they never go out of style.
That is true.
My teeth was glinting right there if we were a video podcast.
Unfortunately, we have faces more suited for radio.
Hey, speak for yourself, though.
Okay.
Well, especially considering, you've been on camera before. I think you did just fine.
I know. I like to be self-deprecating.
As long as you don't depreciate in value. One day you'll be a collectible.
Now I'm just picturing Warp Core Breach action figures.
I'm actually picturing, like, Futurama, your head in a jar.
Oh, no.
Hopefully it'll be right there next to you. And next to me, Face of Bo.
Ooh. But that's a different franchise.
Yeah, that one's a little wibbly wobbly.
Yeah. All right.
What's next?
Next is our captain, Tim Waters. So for skill 4, you get a talent slot, which is nice, 3 points. You add a crew slot to your upgrade bar, and for an action, you can remove all disable upgrade tokens from all of your crew upgrades.
Nice.
Very nice. Synergizes with Phlox or replaces Phlox from that cycle. Kind of up to you and how you want to do that. I sense a lot of shenanigans being able to exist with this.
Especially with the new Wharf and 7 of 9 card.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so many more. But hey, being able to add extra crew, always nice, especially with the recent retirement of the fleet cap.
Very true.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, you don't get the discount, but...
Agreed.
Finding a way to get a crew slot is very important.
Mm-hmm.
And on that note, I think that circling way back, Wave 0, Christopher Pike, he would still be a relevant captain if he added a crew slot.
Agreed.
But since he only discounts your existing crew and there's no slot addition, he's kind of fallen by the wayside.
Yeah, you'd have to put him on a ship like the TOS Enterprise.
Or even the Valiant.
Yeah. Anything with at least 3 crew slots is where you'd have to put him to get any significant use.
Yeah. So
otherwise, he'd be better off with another captain.
Yeah. But, again, that's a podcast for another day. But just Waters made me think of Pike for some reason.
Yeah.
But I think he's a legit captain. I think he's somebody that can see some play. And maybe not in regionals type builds, but perhaps.
Possibly, but on like a support ship. Like
yeah.
If you're not playing Dinatra style mentality, and you just need a ship with some abilities and some capabilities to sort of run the gamut, then he'd be a really good captain.
Yeah, I see him being great in OPs and mission play. I think that he's definitely going to have a home as a very good captain. He's solid. And,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
like with an OP, you've got a lockdown scenario. With regional, things might be a little bit more open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think he's somebody you tailor to what's going on. And do you want him every single time? No, I don't think he has that flexibility of a Spock, a Picard, 8 or 9. But he's there. And he's somebody you consider, and you start going, could I make use of him? Not today. But maybe next time.
But tomorrow.
Yeah. So
the Tim will come out tomorrow.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there.
All right, let's move on to the elite talent. Red Squad. It's a 5-point elite talent, unique. At the start of the game, place a number of tokens, which would be the evade, scan, or battle station, on this card equal to the number of Federation crew upgrades assigned to your ship, 4 max, which definitely goes with Tim Waters adding a crew slot to the existing 3 on the Valiant, so you can make full use of this on the card it comes with. Continuing, During the activation phase, before performing your action, you may remove one token from on top of this card and place it beside your ship. This upgrade may only be purchased for a Federation captain assigned to a Federation ship. Now here's the interesting thing. Now it says place a number of tokens, evade, scan, or battle station. Now I'm assuming, of course, you could do a mix and match. It's not saying anything that tells me you have to only put one type on there.
I wouldn't think so.
So giving you the flexibility to sort of pre-plan your usage is excellent. Anything that gives you some tactical thought makes a better player out of you.
Yeah, I think so too. And of course, this is total actions. It's not of each.
Mm-hmm.
I know I had to read that twice. Granted, I read it when I first woke up, and I was like, wait, what? Now, here's the thing. I know the card costs 5. But what I would have loved to have seen them do is make it cost question mark. And have question mark be equal to the number of crew slots.
I would have liked that as well.
Right? So if you only have one crew slot, it costs you 1 point.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been a fun way to get a talent that varies in cost.
Or, to be in keeping with their 5-point cost, you could have it maybe question mark +1.
Sure.
Or asterisk +1, or whatever you want to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've used asterisk for the dorsal, but yeah, sure, +1. That would have worked too.
Mm-hmm. Although, who doesn't want a discount?
Anybody.
There is a Ferengi on this ship. Spoiler.
I don't think that this card is 5-point good. At that point, we're looking at the things like Rebellion and Lure and even Conditional Surrender, but that's a 4-point card.
Well, I would tend to disagree, because it's not a free action. It's a place token. So, essentially, you're getting 4 better than free actions for 5 points. Where quite often in the game, you get 5-point discards where you still have to pay an action and a discard to get one ability or one token out of it. So, multiply that by 4, and not having an action, and not having to worry about a discard which prevents future use, that's pretty hot. So I'm not really balking at the 5-point cost here.
I guess I hear that. It raises questions of, do you have to be able to perform your action? And other things like that. I know it's not an action, but it does say before performing your action.
And it doesn't say step.
Yeah. So that's a question we'll have to pose.
Excellent point there, because before performing your action, if you're not actually performing an action, do you have a before performing? So, excellent point.
Given the way they did meg charges and evade tokens, one would intuitively think no, but rules say otherwise. So, at some point, I don't know. Because it would be cool. Hey, I'm doing a 3 come about, but I'm going to place an evade token.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, and thematically it makes sense to have the Fed Captain Fed ship restriction. So, I like that.
The next guy up seems to have some historical significance as far as astronauts. Care to lead us in?
Yes, that is Riley Aldrin Shepard.
Buzz Aldrin? Alan Shepard?
Yes. I'm just disappointed they didn't get anything to Collins. Or Michael. He should have been Michael.
Michael Collins?
Yeah. The guy that...
Michelle, or...
Yeah, something like that. Anyways, Riley, action! Disable this card to perform an additional green maneuver with a speed of 1. Your ship cannot be target locked this round. If there is already a target lock on your ship, get rid of it!
Yeah!
Now,
I like it.
He is 5 points.
And an action.
And an action disable.
But only a disable.
But only a disable. It's a 5-point action disable that you can get behind, though. Because there's ways to mitigate the action economy. There's enough things that can make it happen. 5 points is steep, though.
Yeah, but very good synergy with the captain.
Yeah.
Good enabling.
And it is a green maneuver.
Mm-hmm. Remove an ox token.
Now, how you're getting an action while you have an ox, who knows?
So, since it doesn't state a specific selection of maneuver types, that would mean it would have to be a green maneuver speed 1 that's on your dial.
Yes.
Now, based on the dial we get with the Defiant, all the 1 maneuvers are green, the bank, and the straight. So, if it's on a ship that has, say, a white forward, a green 1 forward, but say white banks or white hard turns, would those not be selectable then?
That is a weird thing, because here it's giving you color and speed.
Just not maneuver specifically.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll have to get back to people on that. So, after some consultation of the tournament rules and such, Riley works only on the things on his dial, and we're fairly certain about that.
And given that all the Federation ships, except for the Sakharov shuttle, have all 1 maneuver being green, it shouldn't really be an issue.
Just don't put them on Voyager.
Banks only.
Banks only. It's just not worth it.
Well, that's why Voyager likes to fly drunk when it's going at speed 1, after a warp core breach. Back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah. Well, that's why Voyager has the 360. So.
Yeah. Go home, Voyager, you're drunk.
But yeah, you know what? Still a reasonable card. You're taking him because you really don't want to be target locked.
Yeah. Free maneuver. Always nice. Remove an ox. Shrug off a target lock. You're good.
Yeah.
Mm.
And more importantly, if you have multiple target locks on you.
Yeah.
So you want to have him on a high skill captain.
After everybody else has had their chance to lock you, yes.
Yeah. I could see him being very interesting, especially in a mission where it's like your one super ship against a bunch of other ships.
Mm-hmm.
And you're trying to make it through, and they're target locking you, and you do the Riley action, and now all of a sudden they have no target locks.
Are we going to call this the Riley Shuffle? Or the Shepherd Shuffle?
No, we're calling it the Riley Shake. Because he's shaking off target locks.
The Alabama Aldrin Shakes.
He's just shaking it off. I'm not going to sing it. I do not want to get sued.
And that rolls us into Carol Ferris. And sorry, GL, I didn't mean that. It's Karen Ferris. 4-point crew. When targeting an opposing ship with a photon or quantum torpedo secondary weapon, you may disable this card instead of spending a target lock. Nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice synergy with Lozier from Excelsior. That way you don't have to disable it, and you don't have to spend a target lock.
You just disable Lozier instead.
Right.
In which case, Waters comes in handy once again.
Yes. Granted, that's if you're running disabled torpedoes and not time token torpedoes. But that's a personal choice.
A little too personal? I think not.
No. We want to know those details about you. Are you a time token person, or are you a disabler?
Yeah. Better than being an enabler. Or not.
Unless you're a re-enabler.
There you go.
Do not be an enabler. Be a re-enabler. That's the Warp Core Breach tip of the day.
Well, I'm really appreciating Ferris, in large part because it says photon or quantum torpedoes. Regardless of the actual functionality of that, I'm glad they actually considered putting both of those in there so you have that flexibility, especially on a Defiant class ship pack.
Yeah, they missed one torpedo, though.
True.
Transphasics.
Yeah, but you really want to give that to Transphasics.
Yeah.
I'm sure the Mr. Hyde in us wants that, but the Dr. Jekyll has to reason it through.
Yeah, but at that point, you've spent 30 points for Voyager, 10 on Transphasics, 4 for Ferris. That's 44 points.
Yeah.
And you don't have a captain. So, And then she really only has one use. I don't think that's that big of a deal.
2 points for Lozier, 3 for Waters. You still got a point left.
Yeah, but Lozier would have no purpose there because Transphasic's discard. See?
I was thinking a little too far ahead of the curve there.
I know. Wouldn't it be great if Transphasic's just disabled?
Or if you had a card that instead of discarding a weapon card, you can disable it.
I know, that would be insane.
Oh, God, yeah.
Okay.
Call time tokens, people.
There we go. Before we get too far into that deep end of insanity, though that would bring Transphasic's back into play.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Dorian Collins, 2-point crew. If your ship suffers damage to its hull, you may immediately disable this card to repair 1 shield.
Nice. Non-action repair.
And here's the thing. Immediately. So damage happens 1 at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So the first time you take hull damage, you can say, wait, pause. I'm disabling Collins. And now that crit that I would take gets absorbed by a shield.
Exactly. You can choose when it kicks in. So you've got 1 hit and 1 crit coming to you. You let the hit in, and then trigger, take a shield, and the shield absorbs the crit.
Or more importantly, if you would have 2 hits and a crit coming in, you take hit, hit, Collins, crit goes to the shield.
Boot to the head.
Yeah. So her timing is amazing.
Yeah, and for 2 points, that's pretty good.
Because it's each and every time you take hull damage, you have the right to counter with Collins.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think that's too good for 2 points, I don't.
Yeah, granted you can only use it once, even with re-enabling, but giving you the option to do it at any point along that path.
Yeah. What else would I want to combo with Collins? Oh, Glendara?
Here's another nice thing. The fact that it says if your ship suffers damage to its hull doesn't say it taking damage from an attack.
Right.
So, yeah, given the fact that it triggers when your ship suffers damage to its hull, you can use her in tandem with Matt Decker.
Oh,
Give
that's a good
yourself
point.
an attack die boost, and repair a shield and trade for the hull.
Yeah. Doesn't help you if your opponent's using that against you and they take out your last hull point. Then you're just tough out of luck.
Indeed.
You have every right to use her at the end, and now you have a shield that's being supported by nothing. You know what? I think she's a great card. I don't know that she'll show up at regionals all the time because she's 2 points in a crew spot, but I think she's monthly OP play.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's got a spot in a lot of builds because she's durability. And she's somebody that can bring back the shield card from the Raven.
Yeah, it wouldn't work with something like the improved deflector screens, which it started, but when it's a card that's merely active when you have active shield, you regain its ability with her.
Right.
With her.
Multi-adaptive shields. Because that doesn't go away at any point. It just only works while you have active shields. So for one more turn, you'd have multi-adaptive, which is nice. Yeah, I'm with you. Good card. All right, you want to tell us about our Ferengi friend that you alluded to earlier?
Nog. Cadet Nog. 5-point crew. Action. Disable this card to repair 1 damage to your hull or shields. With Collins. Or, if you execute a red maneuver, you may disable this card after skipping your perform action step to remove 1 Aux power token from beside your ship.
Yeah. I like the or.
I like the fact that it's not an action, it's just a disable. We've got proper separation. I can't see it being an action cost because you're
No.
skipping the perform action step.
Yeah.
So it's quite clear.
I wish they had flopped it just to make it absolutely clear. Because if you do text or action stuff, then it is definitively clear. But that's a personal thing. Yeah, the first part alone is a 3-point card. Because that's trip. Without the restriction of arcs.
Yeah.
The second, and Glendaro.
Mm-hmm.
The second part is easily a 2 or 3 point card.
Yeah.
Because now you're not predictable. You don't have to do a green move next turn.
Well, like Glendaro, he's a 3-point crew with action, repair, holler shields.
Well, there you go.
No disable. So why is a card that has an extra cost costing more SP? Especially 2 more.
Well, because you've got flexibility. You've got 2 distinct things that you can do.
Yeah, I could see that as a 4, but as a 5?
Yeah, okay, so the repair part should be a... See, it's the weird thing that they've done, right?
Yeah, like if they cloned Glendaro, had him at 3 points, that would be an action non-disable to repair. So then you throw in the disable, that to me should reduce it to a 2 cost. Now you throw in the extra ability, maybe add 1 or 2 points to that. Removing an Ox token is pretty valuable, so say add 2 points. So realistically, in my mind, this card should be costing 4.
Yeah, you say that. But you also have Charles Tucker to contend with, and that's a Federation crew that costs 3 points. That is action if your ship is not in the forward firing arc of any enemy ships. Repair 1 damage to your ship's hull only.
Oh, so, I get that. I just believe that Darrow was appropriately balanced for cost to ability.
Oh, I understand that
that's
too.
That's what's using him as a landmark. Tucker, I think, should be like 2 points.
Oh, I do too. I'm just saying if WizKids is looking back at Federation stuff, they're not going to see the Glendaro comparison to make this actually work. So they see that they wanted to have 2 different abilities. They didn't want to have something that was absolutely superior to Tucker that existed. They're giving him the option, which both options are legitimate options, but yeah, having an action disable is a little too bad.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, a little too much. And honestly, disabling after losing your perform action to pull off 1 Ox power is not really worth it. I would rather be predictable to one of 4 or 6 green moves than actually losing an action.
Well, yeah, because you're disabling and you're already losing your action step. So ideally, you should only be doing one or the other.
Right. I mean, Nog might as well say action.
Yeah, it's the same cost.
Yeah, except you can do it while you have that Ox power.
Right. It's just saying that you can use his ability during a red maneuver.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why they had to do it that way.
But
kind of like Scotty, isn't he?
If Scotty made you disable more shields and only gave you 1 attack die.
Well, at any time you may disable this card to prevent 1 Ox token from being placed beside your ship, or action discard this card to immediately repair up 2 damage to your ship's hull.
Oh, so, that's Scotty, yeah.
Yeah, the one that actually synergizes with it, or mirrors it.
That Scotty is just a disable. He doesn't cost you your action.
Agreed. And that's 5 points.
Nog should have just said, after revealing a red maneuver, disable this card to not add the auxiliary power token.
Yeah. Like, for that, based on the Montgomery Stott comparison, which is the one from the Enterprise refit, just for those of you listening, again, his cost should be reduced to somewhere, say, move 3 then.
Yeah. Nog as printed should be a 3-cost card.
Agreed.
Or his text should be changed. Because if he was action, repair, or even disable this card to remove an Ox Power, then I could see him being a 5-point.
Yeah. I would think that it would likely be disable to prevent an Ox Power, because that's a little different than disable to remove, because then you could do that at a different time.
Yeah. Even if it's disabled to remove, that's a legitimate thing that is worth a 5-point card.
Oh, agreed. That's my point, though, is if it's disabled to prevent, lower point cost. But disabled to remove is much more flexibility, it's more value, so it would validate the higher cost.
I suppose.
You suppose? I was just supporting your point.
No, because what I'm saying is prevention has to be made right then and there. Removal is saying, I don't like this right now, so I'm going to get rid of it. That's a choice.
That was my point exactly.
So getting rid of at any point justifies a higher point cost.
And that's what I said. Getting that extra flexibility justifies the 5 cost, where if it was just prevent, then it would need to be lower, as I stated.
Then I heard you wrong.
We're all in agreement, folks. It's all good. I do kind of feel bad because then I have to leave you with the last card, which isn't anything new.
Oh, it's photon torpedoes that are time tokens. We're done. All right. Things that went wrong in this pack, or rather, things that I would have liked to have seen in this pack that didn't show up, that I hope show up when we get a Sao Paulo. Pulse phasers and Jake.
Yes.
Where is my Jake?
The Jake to my Sao Paulo.
Yeah. Like, this was the perfect time to put Jake in, and I know we already have 4 crew, but
why not give you more than you can put in the pack so you have to choose?
Yeah, and where's a tech card?
Yeah, tech slot with no tech. No?
That's one of the first times this has happened.
It's a trend that's starting in that theme or concept, but it's the first time specifically that has occurred.
Yeah, we're getting less than we used to get.
Perhaps this is WizKids saying that Federation has plenty of tech already.
If anything, Fed has plenty of crew already, but...
Oh, agreed, but the first time cadets have been around.
Yeah. Anywho, well then why give us photon torpedoes? We don't need more of those.
Yeah, exactly. Although, another opportunity to get the time token variation, I welcome that for those that want to do the switch over to time token from disabled torpedoes. So no argument for me on that point.
Sure. Overall, the pack, 6.5 from me. I like a lot of cards. Actually, I'm going to talk myself up to a 7.
That was around the range I was thinking as well.
Right. Photon torpedoes, don't count at this point.
They're just simply not worth bringing on a ship. Okay.
Nog is probably the worst card in this pack.
And he's not that bad. He's just the lesser of the rest.
And, the rest of the crew, I can make work. That doesn't mean I will. It just means I can.
Yeah. If this was an impressive pack, it would be bumped up to at least an 8. But it's certainly adequate.
Yeah.
And that earns it a solid 7.
And maybe the model will be the new shiny silver.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the trend.
I hope it's the cast. I hope it's the molding of the mirror Defiant and not the original Defiant mold.
I would hope so.
Yeah, because they did a great job giving us a lot more detail on the new mold from the ISS Defiant.
Yeah.
So please, WizKids, cross my fingers that that's what you went for.
And I think, we don't know what the mission is exactly, but we know it's the Battle of El Gatark, but it looks interesting from the little bit you can see in the preview picture. So, we don't play tons and tons of missions, but I like where they're going with it.
And you can actually play a fleet of 3 unique Defiant class ships now.
Hey, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Maybe someday it'll be 4.
Sao Paulo, Sao Paulo, Sao Paulo defined. The ship I have been awaiting for so long.
Would you say it's been a long road?
Getting from there to here?
Yeah. We're going to stop right there. But I just like to toss that out every once in a while.
Well, the Andorian Kumari. An Andorian battle cruiser, independent faction, 3143. 22 points, giving us a tech slot, 2 weapons, and a crew slot. And the full complement of action bar action, evade, target lock, scan, and battle station, and a handy little built-in ability where you may perform an evade or a scan action while there is an auxiliary power token beside your ship. Still costs you your action, but you can do it while aux powered.
So, now in thinking about it, this named ability makes me think more that the ship will have a 180 arc and have probably the 2 and 3 red turns and maybe some other red move.
I'm hoping for a red come about. I'm guessing probably a 3.
Yeah, maybe a 2. It was agile enough, but it was also a warship, battle cruiser. So we'll see. I really wish they'd given us the movement card.
Yeah, this is the first time in a while we've been denied.
Future Dave here. We do now have the Andorian Battlecruiser movement card, and it has 2 white hard turns, 3 red hard turns, and a 3 red come about. So Nick and I were half right, half wrong.
It's also one of the first new sculpts in a while, so...
Not counting the OP ships. Specifically speaking, the Zindi ships.
Yeah, well, somebody took care of that. Ding! Okay. But yeah, cool named ability, right? It's a little bit tiny prize, and...
It's 50% tiny prize.
But I like that it's limited, right? It's incentivizing you to get off of aux power, but it's saying, hey, while you're there, you can still do a little something. You're now a little more defensive rather than offensive. At least that's my initial take. So the ship itself is incomplete until we know the movement and the base plate, but I like it so far.
Future Dave here again. That base plate is 180 forward, no rear, so looking pretty good, especially in conjunction with that movement dial.
I do too. It's like I said, it's the ship I've been waiting for quite a long time, and so far I am not disappointed.
Well, I think I'm right there with you. So, our captain is Shran. I'm not even going to try the first name.
Silik?
There you go. My tongue doesn't move that way. Whenever you perform an evade or a scan action, you may target a friendly ship within range 1 of your ship. If you do so, place a token of the same type beside the target ship and an auxiliary power token beside your ship. Seems to synergize with the Kumari pretty well.
And it does definitely feel like another tiny prize in the fact that it's going to be a token stacker.
Well, and I like that he's the closest thing that independents have to an admiral.
Yeah.
Also, anytime you can get an evade token just to have, you're going to stay alive longer. And if that's a bonus thing, all the better. Because now you've got an evade, and you can go do battle stations or target lock, and whatever offensive thing you want to do, and then you've got that evade in your back pocket.
Exactly.
Would have been nice if this was out in mass for TCW3, with the need for scan tokens all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it will be.
Some venues haven't played their OP3 yet.
Yeah. I've still got 2 weeks, or week and a half.
2 weeks.
So if this comes out when it should come out, the 13th, hoping, then Shran's probably going in a fleet.
Yeah.
And as is the Kumari. Because not only is that era specific, it's pretty thematic.
No kidding. And who doesn't like a little Jeffrey Combs in that fleet?
If you don't, you're not a Star Trek fan.
I've been a fan of his since even before we animated.
Well, there you go. So Shran's Captain Skill 6 gives you a talent, 4 points. Everything there seems about right.
Reasonably balanced, I'd say.
Yeah. So,
well done.
Yeah, skill 6 in the Enterprise era. Higher skill than Archer, although Archer has that ability to bump his skill up to 6 or 7. So
right.
But yeah, you know what? I buy that Shran would have higher natural captain skill than Archer.
More experience out there in space.
Yeah. Although I find it weird that they took a picture of Shran from when he was on board Enterprise.
Exactly. You can even see the display of Enterprise in the background.
Like, really? You couldn't get a picture of him on board his own ship?
Aww.
They should have gotten a picture of him in season 4 when he was having a duel and he got his antennae cut off.
Oh.
Poor Shran. Yeah, eventually.
Yeah.
Alright. Hey, speaking of diversions, why don't you tell us about diversion?
Alright. Our elite talent is a 5-point diversion. When an opposing ship declares an attack against a friendly ship that is within range 1 of your ship, if you are also in the attacking ship's forward firing arc, which means they can shoot at you from their forward arc, you may discard this card to force the attacking ship to make its attack against your ship instead. The attack is made at -2 attack dice, so not only are you taking the heat, but you don't take as much either.
Yeah, I like this card in theory. The problem is that if I see my opponent running this, I'm just going to shoot at them.
Exactly. It needs to be one of those hidden elite talents.
Yeah, but then the problem is if you hide it, it's one of the only hidden cards, so everybody knows you have it.
Well, it would be one of those things where it's not hidden the card itself, but add the ability to Shran or to elite talents in general. Because to me, like, an elite talent is kind of like your captain's ace in the hole, and having that as like your secret should be a given, I would say.
Yeah.
I think that would be a really cool errata to the game as far as the rules.
Yeah, like all elite talents are tucked under the captain.
Exactly. Or are tucked under the card that grants the slot.
Sure.
I know that kind of goes around the whole, they're assigned to the ship thing, but I think that whole part needs to be revived, to be honest.
Yeah, well, talents are more assigned to their slot giver than anything else.
Yeah, just there's a number of things where because they officially are attached to the ship, There's a little bit of mess up there. So if they were permanently and solidly attached to the admiral, captain, or crew that they're given, then I think it would just be so much easier to play.
It would streamline everything. And
Absolutely.
that way, when a captain dies, the talent goes with it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and like say you're doing an away team mission and you're throwing your captain down on a planet. Elite talent goes with them.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Too much sense.
Food for thought, whiz kids.
Yeah. Alrighty. Do you have anything to say about diversion?
Well, I like the card. I like what it does. It's got some cool ability to it. But like you said, if it's not a secret, if they see it coming, what point is it going to do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least Rebellion, you have the choice. And it doesn't have to be an arc to take it. I think that's the problem. If diversion wasn't in arc, and then you could make them just not attack.
Well, here's something. It's probably quite obvious, but it says when the opponent declares an attack against a friendly ship that's within range 1 of your ship. So let's say that the ship it's attacking is range 3, and you're just outside of range 3.
No, that
Can it
doesn't
still
work.
be done?
No,
It
because
cannot make the attack.
forward firing arc is within range 3.
Yeah.
And
Well,
arc.
all attacks are limited to range 3.
Right. So that
Yeah.
would not be valid then, because
Yeah,
they
'cause
could
honestly,
not be. You have to be a legal target.
That would be the only reason why I would say that this would be an exceptional card, is if you could do that. Because in the sense of the diversion, it's almost like you've got your guy in front of you that's about to take a hit, and you basically just fly in front to take the hit for him.
Yeah.
But the thing is, in that concept, you'd almost be guaranteed to be easier to hit because you are aiming your ship at the attack.
Well,
at
yeah.
The salvo.
And why don't you get a movement out of this? Like,
Yeah,
it feels like you should have to be able to make a move to intercept that line of fire.
Yeah, like place your ship touching the base, or just touching the base of your friendly ship that's within range 1, directly facing the opposing ship. It's the one that takes the damage, and maybe give them an extra attack die. I know it might seem a little off, but it's a little more practical, keeping with the theme. And hey, it gets you that movement.
Yeah. There is no way that this is a 5-point card.
Absolutely not. Something like this, to me, I'd say maybe a 3.
Maybe. Probably a 2. I am now absolutely convinced that every single talent is going to cost 5 points for the rest of this game.
Which makes no bloody sense whatsoever.
No, none.
Like talents are usually one-off discards. Something, like I said, the ace in the hole that you pull out of your sleeve in a situation. Now that sort of thing is something that you're sort of contingency planning. It's not something that you should expect to use every time. So those things should be anywhere from 1 to 3 points max.
Or those occasional 4 and 5 point cards, like Cheat Death, is actually worth 5 points.
Yeah, but that's a different situation. That's not quite as contingent.
No.
What I'm talking about here.
Right, it's such a universal thing that it's actually good.
You expect them to try to blow you up. It's a pretty common, regular concept, so of course, makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
So, tell us about Talus.
Talus is a 3-point crew. When a friendly ship within range 1 of your ship is declared the target of an attack, you may discard this card to target that ship. If you do so, the target ship may spend your evade or battle station token as if it were beside that ship during this attack.
Nice.
Could they have made the grammar there any more complicated?
No kidding. So many cards could be made so much simpler just by condensing down the wording. It really does not need to be so verbose.
It's basically, ship is close by to you. You say, hey, here's my stuff. Use it if you need it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you can't put that on a card, but that's what Talus does.
If a friendly ship within range 1 is being targeted in an attack, discard this card to allow that ship to use your evade or battle station token. Period. Doesn't need any more clarification.
Yeah.
And it does say the target ship may spend your evade or battle station token. So I would think that if you somehow had both, it would still only be able to use one. Because you're discarding her to use the ability, and then once you've resolved that usage, you can't go back and use another one.
Yeah, I would have liked one line more on her card, though.
Oh, yeah?
If they do not use any token, or tokens, do not discard this card.
Yeah, because of the timing of the wording, it's when it's declared a target. So it's not like it's not like you're discarding it when you're using it, you're discarding it for the privilege of maybe using the token. So I get your purpose.
It seems really silly to do that.
Mm-hmm. So instead of adding that extra line, why not just change the timing? You know, if a friendly ship in range 1 is under attack, you may discard this to allow them to use an evade or battle station token from your ship. Just generalize it.
Yeah.
Or you could say during the modified defense dice step. That would be perfect.
That would work
That's
even
when
better.
you'd be using it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there you go. When a friendly ship within range 1 is under attack, during the modified defense dice step, you may discard this card to allow that ship to spend your evade or battle station token as if it were its own. Done.
Yep. And a card like that would actually be worth 3 points.
Yes. Yeah.
Talus, as she is, maybe.
1 is what I think it should be. 2 is what I would find it acceptable at.
Yeah, but there's no way that's actually going to fly as a 1 point card.
Well, just given that it's a potential throwaway.
Yeah.
That's why 1 point would make sense. Because you don't know if you're even going to need it.
I'm going to toss it this way. I'm never, ever, ever going to use this when I have a battle station token. I will only use this if I have evade token.
Yeah. Well, it depends. Like, if the defending ship is gone after you've already done your attack, and your battle station token is still there, you just didn't need it, then I would.
Sure. The other problem is, then I'm creating myself as a target for my opponent. Unless it's their last ship to fire.
Yeah, but that's what I'm meaning. Based on Captain Skill order, that's the way it would play out under those circumstances. Unless you've got a lot of ships on the table.
Yeah, actually. You know, I know you just spent all this time rewriting Talus. I have a better way to rewrite Talus.
Oh, bring it, man. Bring it.
You need some kind of timing mechanism to do this. We'll figure that out whenever. But basically, she works this way. Discard this card to move an evade or battle station token from beside your ship to a friendly ship within range 1. So you just transfer it, and then there's no mess there.
Mm-hmm. At a proper at any time, not the in-between phases any time.
Yeah.
That would be ideal. That needs to be rescinded, in all honesty, especially for Bashir, that is technically useless.
They need it for cards that don't have a timing window, and then at any time needs to actually mean at any time.
No, they don't need it for those cards. Those cards need to be specifically errated. That's the way it should be done. No more blanket rulings. Simply clarify or errata existing cards as is. Because you put out a blanket ruling, it not only affects everything that came before, it affects everything that goes forward. It isn't always taken into account. So, like, warp rulings aren't necessarily considered during the design stage or phase of card development.
Yeah.
We've seen that. Proof positive.
Yep. Well.
So, if every quarter they just simply incorporate the warp clarifications, rulings, errata that pass, then it goes into official record. But just simply leaving it on the forum for people to have to kind of dig around and find, to me that shouldn't be considered official. It's just, this is here to help you out if you really need it.
Mm-hmm.
I've said my piece, rant done.
Okay, so how about some advanced weaponry?
Alright, let's give you some advanced weaponry. 5 cost secondary weapon, attack value 5, range 1 to 3. Attack, target lock. Spend your target lock and place 3 time tokens on this card to perform this attack. If you inflict a critical damage, you may search the damage deck and choose either a weapons malfunction or munitions failure critical damage card, then reshuffle the deck. You may only fire this weapon from your forward firing arc.
Weapon or munitions failure is the one that makes you discard a secondary weapon.
Mm-hmm.
I believe weapons malfunction is the one that reduces primary attack value by 1.
I believe that's true, yeah.
Both of those cards are worthwhile cards.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in this era where people are doing Type 8s and upgraded phasers and weapon ports and other secondary weapons that are very useful.
Common.
Yeah. So if you can pull that off and make them get rid of one of their secondary weapons, you're going to be in a better place.
Yeah, because you're not only dealing damage to them, you're also preventing future damage to yourself by reducing their effectiveness. So that's twofold.
Now, they did forget the wording to the ship's hull, but the fact that you're searching the damage deck kind of implies that.
Yeah. Well, it's more the inflicting a critical damage. You do not inflict critical damage to shields.
Though.
And the ablative armors on it are converted to hits, so...
Although they do their conversions before you do, so if you have something like Taurus, you can actually convert one back up to a crit. And
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that would be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You'd make them discard, and even if they get rid of it once the ablative goes away, their attack value would go back up, but their secondary weapon would still be discarded.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and going back to all the torpedo and similar cards like this backwards, costing 5 and 6 points, I don't think that the cost of the card should be in keeping with the attack value of the card, especially when there's so much involved in the costing of using it.
Yeah.
Target lock, disable, or time tokens. To me, that's not a balanced level. And if photon torpedoes costed 2, you'd probably see more people bringing them, even with their limited capabilities.
Yeah, because you just want to have them around.
Yeah.
Because maybe that punch is worthwhile.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're going to do a show on how we would fix torpedoes. So, because I think it's a worthwhile conversation to have.
There's not a time enough in the world on a podcast to say how we fix everything.
But torpedoes are something that's worth taking some time.
Indeed.
But I like advanced weaponry. I'm with you that I think it's at least 1 point overpriced.
Granted.
But toss this on like the Valjean or Tholia 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe we're getting somewhere.
Indeed. And what about the Gorn ships that already have the clip abilities built into them?
Oh yeah, that would be fun.
That'd be some nice stacking.
Or maybe even the Krenum.
Mm.
Not because of their abilities or anything, just because they're a pretty solid frame. And they've got that mirror dual function.
Yeah. Yeah, with the Sgorn or Sigorn and the Gornaris, their abilities trigger on primary weapon attack, where this one is a secondary weapon.
Yeah, but that's okay because you need something to do while you're cooling down.
Mm-hmm. Being either or. So, attack primary, you get structural damage and weapons malfunction. You do advanced weaponry, you get weapons malfunction or munitions failure. So it's kind of cool.
But Sakona discounts this, and she's an in-faction discount, so
3-pointer.
That's something to consider as well.
Yeah. Now, one thing that is going to become evident once you reveal the next card to us, this card also says you may only fire this weapon from your forward firing arc. So, more evidence to me saying that the ship may only have a forward firing arc.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean it's not a 180, but we're not likely to see a rear 90.
Yeah, who knows?
Time will tell, folks.
Time will tell. Time tokens will tell. Speaking of
time tokens,
we have a particle cannon array. 4 dice, range 1 to 3, attack, place 2 time tokens. Yes, that's right. I said 2.
Ooh.
You may only fire this weapon from your forward firing arc.
3-point cost.
I know. So,
not bad.
3 points, 4 dice, range 1 to 3, every other turn.
It's not a disable or a discard, it's just time tokens.
Yep.
So, that's pretty nice. So, at the end of the turn you're firing, you drop 1 time token. Next turn, you fire primaries or advanced weaponry, you drop the second, it's ready to go. So, it's an alternating turn. So, a particle cannon array, non-unique, you can put 2 on the ship if you buy 2 Kamari packs, or you can simply alternate it with your primary or other secondary weapon. So, there's one reason right there you may wish to buy 2 of these.
Yeah, or I'm just going to take Sakona, put 2 particle arrays on here, and I'm going to pay, 4 points to do all of that, and life's good.
Yep, sounds good to me, pal.
Maybe that's silly, but I'm okay with silly.
I can actually see myself doing that in the near future, so watch out, Vancouver.
But yeah, so I think we're both on board. We like particle cannon array.
Absolutely. And we forgot to mention that advanced weaponry was indeed non-unique, so you could technically use 2 of those in your set as well.
Yeah, I'm not as sold on that.
Granted, but I find it something that's really important to make sure we mention. When a
yes.
card is non-unique. It
Sorry.
makes all the difference in the world.
I am sold on having that on 2 different ships. I'm
Yes.
not sold on having one ship with 2. Particle
Agreed.
cannon array is one of the very few weapons I am sold on one ship having 2 of.
Yes. You don't need 3. 2 will do it. Alright. Now, here is a card that keeps coming back to us with many different flavors. Just like ice cream, we have Tractor Beam. 4-point tech. Action. Discard this card to target a friendly ship within range 1. That ship performs an additional green maneuver with a speed of 1. The target ship rolls +1 defense die this round. Action, gift a ship another movement. Not bad. I like it. Added bonus, you get an extra defense die.
If it's a 2-point card, I love it.
Yes.
If
it is a discard. I missed that as I read it. If it was a disable, I'd be a little happier, but as a discard,
yeah. Actually, I even missed the discard portion. If it's a 1-point card, I love it. If it's a 2-point card, I like it. As a 4-point card, I don't like it.
I would not waste a tech slot and 4 points for that ability one-off that has an action discard. No thanks.
Nope.
It may be non-unique. Next.
Yeah, long-range sensors. When defending, if there is a scan token beside your ship during the roll defense die step, you may disable this card to roll +1 defense die for that attack. 3-point card.
Non-unique. I like the ability, but for a disable?
Nope.
No, it's not even to gain an evade. It's an extra defense die, which has a hard time rolling evades to begin with. That, to me, is either a 1-point card or a 3-point free-for-all.
So, here's what it needed to be. One of 2 things. And both of these keep it as a 3-point card. You're fine recosting it to 1. I'll buy that. But in keeping it as a 3-point card, during the roll defense die step, you may disable this card to gain an evade result. Or place an evade token beside your ship.
Right.
Okay?
Or convert a blank to an evade or something.
Sure. But I'd rather place an evade token.
Granted, because then you can go over and above or whatever.
Yeah. Or, if there is a scan token beside your ship, roll +1 defense die for every time you defend. Each time you defend. Yeah, when defending.
Yeah, like Tom Paris, but requiring a scan token.
Yes. So a discount, a tech, so not a crew.
Right.
Brilliant.
I like it.
Yeah. So both of those would have worked.
Now, here's a question for you. Reading it as written, when defending, which means every time, if there is a scan token beside your ship, so you have to basically tap your scan token, you can't use this a second time, assuming that it wasn't a disable, right? So based on that wording, even if it was not disableable, it would still only be usable 1, correct?
No, if this said, if there's a scan token beside your ship during the roll defense die step, roll +1 defense die, it would keep going. Because all it does is check to see if there's a scan token.
Right, you can check it once per attack, just like you could use Spock for each attack.
Right, if you had another card that also said when defending, if there is a scan token blank, you would have to choose. But that's perfectly fine.
Right.
Yeah, as it is, card's not worth it. Sorry. You're just not going to equip a ship with this card. It's not.
No.
It's not worth it. I mean, maybe.
It's not valued properly. It costs appropriately.
Yeah, maybe you do it because it's the last thing that might save you. but that's not a good reason to take a card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's not forget that if you have a scan token beside your ship when you're playing like the Kumari, potentially even with Shran, you're going to have Ox tokens. So again, you're not going to be able to re-enable it. So it's going to be a one-time use.
Yeah.
And that's just for a defense die. Once. So I don't see the value in that.
Oh, yeah.
I'd say next, but that's it, folks.
Oh, that's the other problem with Tractor Beam, is that it's +1 defense die this round. So that means it's 1 extra defense die in total.
Right. But it is a discard anyway, so it's not like you could gain more.
No, but if it had said the target ship rolls +1 defense die each time it defends,
right,
that would have at least made it a little bit better.
Yeah, like this is the problem with wording in this game. Like for this round should mean for the rest of the round, when you need to, you roll an extra defense die. That's what that wording should mean.
Right.
And like long range sensors, it says for that attack. So why did they decide to word those two differently, if not to give a different effect?
Because it's WizKids, and I know that's a terrible excuse, but they have problems with wording.
Yeah. So I'm sure there would be the odd card that would be broken by this clarification, but I would say that you'd have to say this round means for the rest of the round. So each time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Overall, though, Kumari, without knowing the base plate or the move card, it's incomplete.
Yeah.
But
so
based on what we know, I'm at like a 5.
Really?
The only card I really like here is Shran. I do like the Kumari.
Mm-hmm.
But I have serious problems with Diversion. I have super serious problems with both tech cards.
Mm-hmm.
And Talus is not good.
Yeah.
And when I have 4 cards out of 8 that will never, ever, ever see play.
One that kind of and another one that's really cool, but not overly powerful.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And the other 2 of those 4 that are maybes are weapons, which have a place, but how many points are you really investing?
Yeah, so for excitement, cool factor, I would give this pack an 8.
Oh,
but
yeah.
For actual practical use in the game of Star Trek Attack Wing, for which it is made, I have to give it more like a 4.5. Like, I'm torn between 4 and 5, so.
Now, don't get me wrong. Shran on the Kumari is super playable.
Yeah, but it's a 4 hull, 3 attack power ship.
Yeah.
So, it's, even in a mixed environment, it's limited as what you can do to it.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
But there's things. There are things
so,
that can be done.
In the proper sandbox, this is a phenomenal ship. But given the scope of the game itself, I unfortunately cannot rate it very high at all. But do not get me wrong, I love this ship. Because the model's cool, the ship is designed well, the captain is designed well, and the particle cannon array is brilliant for this ship. I just don't find it overly competitive with the rest of the game. Now, in an Era Pure situation, full on. Love it.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see some people out there playing Era Pure with this ship. Even just for a casual scenario.
It would work. I think you got to play the missions close to Era specific.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then they're a lot of fun.
Missions are pretty much something that you should keep in theme, in keeping with what you're getting in the pack, with what's going on in the story. So you're not going to put a Borg tactical cube something that's an Enterprise era, right? That's why they actually have, you must only have like this faction ship or up to this point. They do rein it in for a very good reason.
But I want to see the Xindi superweapon take on a Borg tactical cube.
I can pretty much guarantee that you will, because I will likely set that up in the near future.
Well, there we go. All right. At this point, I need something to cleanse my palate. Do you have any recommendations for that?
How about some pie?
Okay, I have one question, and I'm stealing this from somebody on Facebook. If I paint it orange, can I call it pumpkin pie?
You certainly can. I read that as well.
Okay. I told that to Natasha. She groaned a little bit. She said, no, you may not. I said, I'm doing it anyways.
My pie.
All right. So the RIS pie. We get the familiar Romulan scout vessel / line of 1322. Maybe that's not all that familiar to people who don't remember the VO, and why would you?
Well, a lot of people were using the VO as a killer support ship for Ganatza and other goodies. Well, it's pretty hard to hit, so the power players that enjoyed Romulan would know it. The rest of you may not.
Yeah, and a pretty good Romulan action bar of evade, scan, cloak, and sensor echo.
Yeah, no target lock, but it's got the scan.
And no target lock is actually going to come back and hurt in a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
It's a scout vessel, not an attack vessel.
We get one crew and one tech slot, and that makes me sad.
Yeah, but it's the same as the VO.
I know. 2 tech would be nice, though.
Absolutely.
And our named ability. During the activation phase, you may perform a scan action as a free action. If you do so, place an auxiliary power token beside your ship. Pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And my first reaction to that is, finally, they got a scan action right to work with cloaked mines.
Yes.
It's got to be a free action or some kind of action.
Mm-hmm. This one actually makes sense.
Yep. And all of this for 16 points, which, hey, I'm on board.
Yep. Sure, why not?
And good maneuver card, because no red, all the ones, except a come about, all the 2s, including a come about, that's white, 3 straight and bank, 4 straight, 6 green moves, the 1 straight banks, and the 2 straight banks. So,
very nice.
Very maneuverable, cloaking, 2 come about white.
Generic ship gets a tech slot, drops the crew slot,
Yep.
14 points, and 1 shield.
Yeah. So, that 3 evade, cloak it, and you don't have to attack if you don't want to, although with the pie and the scan token, it's there.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I like the named pie.
Mm-hmm. It's decent for what it is. It's not impressive, but it's fitting.
I think that's the way to describe it.
Mm-hmm. Now, the pie must be on the way to Galorndon Core, because your captain is Bokra. We've seen him previously as a crew. Now he's the captain of the scout vessel. He's a 1 point, 2 skill. If Bokra is assigned as the captain of a Romulan scout vessel, during the combat phase, if there is a scan token beside your ship, roll +1 attack die and +1 defense die. So that's making it a 2/4/2/2.
That's really good.
And it doesn't cost anything other than putting out the scan action, and it can be used during any time in the combat phase. Your attacks and your defenses, however many there may be.
Yeah, you cloak, now it's a 2/8.
There you go. Not many of those out there without significant modification.
Yeah, a 2/8/2/0. I mean, you're fragile, but I will take the pie or the VO, either one, at a 2/8/2/0 with an interface generator. Actually, at this point, forget the pie and the VO. Give me the generic.
Yep.
And that puts me at 18 points.
Mm-hmm.
2/8/2/0, and I can take a hit necessarily. because I've got that interface. So if my 8 evade dice fail, I'm going to live.
Yeah, you take 1 damage to your hull, which you'd have 1 left.
Yeah. So, okay.
And if you throw Mirok on there, you might be able to repair it.
Well, but now that's a captain instead of Bokra.
Yeah, but Bokra doesn't really work with what you're doing unless you spend an action on your scan anyway.
True. So, well, we're getting there.
One step at a time.
All right, but I think we both agree. Bokra, yes, he's situational. And I wish he worked on science or scout.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a little bit more synergy between the two of those.
Yeah.
Or synchronicity is the word I'm actually looking for.
And that's the thing. The Talvith would be salvaged if it also worked on scout stuff.
Wonder Twin powers activate.
At this point, isn't it quadruplets?
It is now.
Alrighty. Covert mission. This upgrade may be fielded by any captain. Yes, you have an elite talent that can go on anybody.
Mm-hmm.
If the captain's card does not have an elite talent icon, this upgrade costs 1 more point.
So +2 if you're mixing factions.
Yeah. During the end phase of each round, place 1 mission token on this card, up to a max of 3. Alright. For an action, discard this card to gain +1 attack die for each mission token on this card for your first attack this round.
So, first round, you do your usual cloak. You get your mission token at the end of that round. 2 more rounds of hulking back a little bit. Round 4, you can add +3 to your attack.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's not limited to a scout vessel. You could put this on a scimitar.
No. I don't want to.
What, you don't want 9 dice?
I don't want to face that.
I can already hear the Romulan fans cheer.
So, I'm excited about Mirok getting a talent.
Mm-hmm.
Or Klingon Worf. The skill 5 version, the reroll Worf.
Exactly, the one that I use quite frequently recently. Yeah, because there's really only 2 Romulan captains that would benefit from this added ability. There's Mirok and...
Well, Bokra now.
Rekar.
Yeah. Okay.
Rekar is the other one, the one that came with the Prometheus.
Oh, yeah. Well, and the captain that's coming on the Temet.
True. But I was speaking up for this.
Fair enough.
I haven't memorized the new stuff yet.
Yeah. I previewed it and I don't remember the name. That tells you how many cards there are at this point. Covert Mission, reasonable card.
I'm quite excited by it. It's 5 cost, but it's still quite cool.
It's 3 attack dice.
Yes.
Which is 6 points.
Mm-hmm.
And it's on top of anything, and it can go on any captain. Like, this could have legitimately been a 7-point talent.
I wouldn't think so. That, to me, no.
Okay, it could have legitimately been a 6-point talent because of the... Yeah. But even if you don't, you put it on Torith or Donatra or somebody, 2 points per attack die. It would be a thing.
Throw it on Terrell, and that's 7 points.
Yeah. So, I'll put this thing on Fed captains and make no apologies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for 3 attack dice, granted only once, I could see people paying that price for it. It feels like it's kind of teetering on the edge of being balanced, like it could go either way, really, but I'm happy with it. Just a little inside note, as far as Space Dock app is concerned, this card is a nightmare.
Uh-huh.
This upgrade may be fielded by any captain, whether it has an elite talent slot or not. Robert George and I had a chat about this today. It's gonna be interesting, folks, so those of you listening that use the app, please be patient. We're working on a solution to make it happen for you.
I have a feeling the data will be in and the support will be in a while.
Oh, we've already got some data updates for the majority of this stuff. We may very well even have the file. Alright, our first crew for the Romulan Imperial ship Pi Pardek. I rather enjoyed the episode that we saw Pardek in. Let's see how his crew upgrade size is up. 5 points. Action. Discard this card to target a ship at range 3. Your ship cannot attack the target ship, and that ship cannot attack your ship this round. 5-point action discard, range 3. Yuck.
I count 4 strikes, and where I come from, you only get 3.
Exactly.
This card reminds me that WizKids is still designing this game.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but I would have been fine if Pardek was a 1-point card.
Generally speaking, I'd agree with you, but honestly, I don't think I would ever take him. Not
No.
with the range 3 limitation.
No, but at least he'd be terrace fodder.
Yes, but there are better options. Like the other Bokra, for one. And Corinne?
Yeah. But at least at that point, now you could take the good Bokra and still have 2 crew to throw out the airlock.
Yeah, I'd almost rather spend an extra point on like a Romulan helmsman, or a Romulan pilot, or a Romulan security officer.
True.
You know? But if you've only got 1 point left, perhaps. But still, you'd really have some heavy-duty arm twisting to even get you to consider taking him at 1 point. So at 5 points, expletive. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, speaking of expletives and 1 point, Patak. When attacking with your primary weapon, during the roll attack die step, you may discard this card to gain +1 attack die for that attack. Love it.
1 cost crew for that. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yep. That's how they should be done.
Yep.
Nailed it.
Yeah. It's unique. It's what it should be. We're good. I could
see this getting out of hand if it was not unique.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite easily.
Yeah. Although if WizKids really wanted to move product.
Yeah, and that's what I've been saying for months. It's like, if you want to move chip packs, you need to put more non-unique cards that people want multiples of. That will sell ships.
What I would have liked is if that was non-unique, but limit 1 per ship.
Yes, and I was just going to get to that, so thank you for taking that out.
Alright, well, speaking of the non-unique cards, all the text non-unique, so why don't you get us started?
Alright. Well, with the warp core breach, you're likely to send out a distress signal, so here we go. Klaxons away. 2-point tech. When defending, if there is a friendly ship within range 1 to 2 of your ship with a hull value greater than your ship, say a Scimitar or something, or anything really, during the roll defense dice step, you may discard this card to roll +2 defense dice. So essentially, you're calling for help, and it's making you a little harder to hit because they're so big. No ship may be equipped with more than 1 distress signal upgrade. For 2 points, discard. I respect that.
Sure.
Well designed.
Yeah. Thematic, if nothing else.
Yeah, it's not something I would take every time, but had free couple of points, I would bring it. I'd have to have the free text lot, but that's the harder part. But yeah, it's not a bad card. It really isn't. This is almost a kind of card you would want as an elite talent that would go on any captain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what was bugging me about Distress Signal. Thank you. There was something gnawing at me, and that's what it was. Mm-hmm. This isn't a tech, it's a talent.
It may require technology to broadcast a signal, but the act of putting out the distress signal, the act of choosing to flip the switch for that distress signal, that's something that would be a captain's order, or an elite talent as they're called in attack wing.
But, still a decent card. Something I like on the drone, and, +2 defense dice isn't the best thing in the world, but it's not the worst thing in the world.
I'd be happier at 1 point, but I think it's fair at 2.
Yeah, well,
It's
and it
not
doesn't
something-
say while not cloaked,
Exactly, you can use it any time.
which is even scarier.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's a when defending, so it doesn't matter which time you do that. It is a discard, so you only get it once, but you've got the control flexibility to make the call.
Yeah, so Distress Signal, reasonable card. I think we found some ways that we like it better, but I don't think either of us hate it.
Agreed.
All right.
Alright, so the distress signal's out. What's next, David?
Well, we have a graviton field generator,
Ooh.
which is a fancy way of saying, hey, let's get some more shields. When defending, if your ship is not cloaked during the deal damage step, you may discard this card to add 1 shield token. This shield token may not exceed your ship's starting shield value and is treated like a normal shield token. No ship can have more than 1 of this upgrade. 2 points. Non-unique.
Where it says no ship may be equipped with more than 1, quote, graviton field generator, end quote, upgrade, we already have a tech card called Graviton Field Generator, if I remember correctly. So, it's interesting that one says it's limited to 1 and the other doesn't say that. So you could not have both on one ship, even though they are both non-unique.
Oh, that's right. They put one on the Talvith.
Yeah, and that one's a action disable, discard up to 2 active shields to perform an extra straight maneuver, or shield tokens.
You could put as many Talvith Graviton Field Generators on a ship as you want.
Mm-hmm.
But...
Yeah, that to me is poor planning.
That to me is terrible planning.
I was being kind.
Yeah. That to me says that somebody forgot that they did it.
Yeah. They're probably thinking along the lines of Tractor Beam, where you have different abilities, same name, but in the very least, they should have put, like, an exclamation point, like they did with the, Make It So.
Yeah.
With the Mirror Universe Make It So, it had an exclamation point, differing it from the Federation Make It So without the exclamation point.
Well, even then, Mirror Unique and Normal Unique. And...
They might as well have been non-unique in the fact that you could put both in the same, just
right.
cost a penalty. So, yeah.
I don't know.
It's an unfortunate crossover. It was. I'm gonna say they just didn't realize it.
And honestly, I don't think anyone would worry if you wanted to have a Pi Graviton Field Generator and a Talvith GFG in on the same ship.
Yeah, like house rule, I would allow it, but technically, if it was like regionals, absolutely not.
I'm going to say, as the California judge, that that's perfectly fine. Because this card means that card.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
But this is the kind of thing that, just to avoid arguments, I would declare that beforehand, just saying. I'd even put it in like a little note for the event.
Yeah, well.
Just to prevent argument.
No one's running the Talvith GFG. I'm just... That's not showing up. And
Devil's
you know
advocate,
what?
Baby.
I understand. I think where we may have more of an issue is on this next card, so why don't you get us into that?
Well, we let loose the distress signal. We tried the Graviton Field Generator, and it didn't pay off, didn't work. So, time to self-destruct. 3-point tech, self-destruct sequence. Action. Destroy your ship and target every ship within range 1 of your ship. Each target suffers 1 damage. No ship may be equipped with more than 1 self-destruct sequence upgrade.
You know what? I know people are talking about this plus cheat death plus I stab at thee plus Tasha Yar equals shenanigans. Yes, that's all well and good. This alone is a reasonably good card.
Yes.
Because it's area of effect, and it's boom.
Yeah, and it does not deal a damage to your ship, which is kind of covered by the destroy your ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it had said that, and you were to prevent yourself from being destroyed, I'd say you'd still take the damage. But no, you don't, given the wording of the ship. So it's all the ships within range 1 outside of your ship that take a damage, including friendly. So any ship.
Right.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
here's something. Based on the interpretation of the fighters' rules, squadron rules, this wouldn't affect them, would it? Or because it's a global-ish effect, which takes precedence, the all or the ship word? Like the every ship or the ship?
I would say that every takes precedent because you're not targeting.
Right, it's not. But it says and target every ship. It specifically says
you're not
so,
specifically targeting.
Yeah, so based on the letter of the law of the land, so to speak, I'm thinking that this wouldn't, but you have to use reason on this one. The squadrons are not going to be immune to it.
It's the same reason that cloaked mines affect squadrons.
Right.
Because, cloaked mines say ship.
But they don't say target every or anything like that. It's a ship triggering it. Right?
They say if an enemy ship passes.
Right.
So
it's completely different wording, which is why I'm bringing it up. This one says target every ship. So this is another nail in the coffin of me saying no more blanket rulings, just do clarifications and errata, and you'll have a lot less confusion amongst the players. You'll have happier players.
It's basically that the way I've gotten to go about fighters is that you don't target them with your own effects. And if your opponents try to mess with them, they can. That's not 100% true, but it's a really good rule of thumb.
Yeah. But that reasoning would prevent this from affecting it, which is why I brought it up. It's on that edge where you have to let reason rule out on this one.
Right. And
because it'd be stupid otherwise.
You've got an explosion happening. A ship is in the area of explosion, so it's going to take damage.
Shrapnel, debris, collateral damage, energy waves. You can't just escape that, especially if you're a smaller, weaker vessel like a squadron, a fighter.
Well, up until you said energy waves, the fighters had the best chance to dodge the shrapnel and debris, right?
Well, range 1, there's going to be a crap load of debris.
Oh, I agree. So,
yeah, it just depends on the ship that's blowing up. Is it a scout vessel like this comes on, or is it a scimitar?
If you're self-destructing a scimitar, you're doing it wrong.
Especially with the squadron points you're giving up.
Yeah. If you're self-destructing a drone ship, you might be doing it right.
Well, considering that Borg's self-destruct sequence is played on like tactical cubes and stuff like that. But hey, again, we're talking about the cheap death options and all that. Then you're not necessarily doing it wrong if you're coming back.
Yeah, that all depends. But okay, Pi. Overall, I want to give it overall a 3.14, but
that would be selling it short.
That would be selling it very, very short.
As an offensive ship, that might be a fairly good rating for it overall, considering it starts out with a 1 primary, and once you can get it to 6, maybe 7 with range 1, but it's the cards that make this pack valuable.
I'm giving this thing a 7. Maybe a 7.5.
Between the self-destruct sequence and the covert mission in particular, yeah.
Those are support cards that do a lot. Patak is a very playable 1-point card.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's the best 1-point card, and maybe we should do a show on 1-point cards sometime. But he is easily like one of the top 5 1-point cards.
He is of the betters because 1 point getting what would otherwise be 2 points worth of attack value, but only once. So
one value is good.
Yeah.
And it doesn't cost you an action or anything else. You just simply discard.
Yeah, and Graviton Field Generator is a reasonable tech. And and the Pi is not the worst ship out there, and Bokra is not a terrible captain.
And hey, wouldn't Patak be nice in a mixed fleet with Captain Sopek from the Balkans?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably better ways to go about it, but better
For
things I want to...
fun.
Yeah, sure, for creative fun, why not? I mean, sometimes you just got to get creative with it, but I'm on board. I mean, the only card here I don't like at all is Pardek.
Yeah, Pardek is definitely the crowning achievement.
And you can question the Pi and Bokra. Those are going to have limited use overall.
Yeah.
But, and Distress Signal is not the best card.
But they're not bad cards. That's the key here.
Right.
Like the Talvath had a number of bad cards because either their abilities just weren't attractive or the cost of using them was just too high or the restrictions were too significant.
Right. Pardek is the only truly bad card here.
Yeah. Like, yes, it's usable, but who in their right mind would?
Right. So that's the Pi. This is a really good wave overall.
Absolutely. There's no OP killers, but there's some good cards that you can use to augment what you've already got.
I think this is the best overall wave we've seen since 18. 18 was Bioship Beta, Quark's Treasure, and the USS Phoenix. That was a better wave than what we've got in 22, but it beats 19. 19's only standout achievement was the Delta Flyer.
Yeah, absolutely.
20...
I was humming on that, but...
Yeah, the Rotaran and the Talvith. The Rotaran had some neat pieces, but the Talvith was terrible.
Yeah, Talvith was garbage. I did eventually buy it, but...
Well, jeez. Maybe this is on the quality of 19, I'd say, actually. Maybe even a little below. Because I don't think anything's as good as the Delta Flyer.
I've actually, just to put a little bit more value on Wave 19, I've put a few cards in the Rotaran pack to some really good use.
And you said you didn't see anything when we first talked about it.
I know, but hey, I had a chance to soak it up, and I've been playing pure Klingon the last 3 or 4 times that I played Attack Wing.
Well, there we go.
To sort of balance a bit for new players, and I was kicking butt. I was doing quite well.
Okay.
And I was trying to even scale it back a little, and I think maybe I should have gone a little further.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think we can agree that this is better than Wave 20. The Hathaway Romulan Fighters and Halik Raider wave.
Yeah, Hathaway was the saving grace for that, but you just can't make up for it with the other two.
And it's better than Wave 21.
Aye.
So, although I think Wave 21 may go down as the worst wave we've ever seen. So.
I know. And the interesting thing is I bought all 3 day one.
Oh, yeah, me too. We have problems. But yeah, I think on that note, we need to be out of here.
Yeah, only Star Wars X-Wing players would be mounting an intervention on us here, because the rest of you Star Trek people, you at least understand. You may not agree or do it yourself, but you at least understand. Solidarity, my brothers and sisters.
You understand why we are people who buy stuff, because we also support others in their addictions. So,
yeah.
All right. On that note, thank you for listening. Go out and buy Wave 22 because it looks like good fun. And we will have our additional thoughts on the Kumari once we know the maneuver card and the firing arcs. Look for that in Warp Core Breach episode 23 amended, or maybe 24. One of the two. We'll have it for you.
Joe and true, folks.
Warp Core Breach is produced by Nick Norris and David Montgomery, with additional content from our contributors. Our computer is voiced by Corinne Donnelly.
Warp Core Breach is not endorsed, sponsored, or affiliated with CBS Studios Incorporated or the Star Trek franchise. All Star Trek trademarks and logos are owned by CBS Studios Incorporated.
All sound files are used under Creative Commons 3.0 by attribution. For specifics, please visit our Facebook page by searching Warp Core Breach Podcast. If you want to contribute to the show, let us know on the Facebook page, or you can email us at warpcorebreachpodcast@gmail.com.